Today, we're diving into a short but honestly a devastatingly powerful poem by Warsan Shire. It's called The Terrible, and it gets right to the heart of one of the most unsettling things that can happen in our modern world. That exact moment a human being stops being a person and becomes a story.
Right out of the gate, the poem just hits you with this. No warning, no build-up, just this simple, brutal statement. It's telling you that your identity, who you are, isn't permanent. It can be taken, it can be rewritten, and it can be totally replaced. One day, you're you, in all your messy complexity. And the next, you're just a narrative, your content, something to be consumed.
And from that one line, the assault just begins. It's this relentless chant. First up, you're a cautionary tale. A warning. Your entire life boiled down to one simple lesson for other people. Don't let this happen to you.
Then it gets worse. You're a ghost. You're not even a lesson anymore. You're an echo, just an after-image of who you used to be. You have no agency, no say in the matter. You just kind of haunt the story that took your place.
And finally, you're a memory. And that's it. The transformation is complete. You've been filed away, archived. You're now an artifact of the past. The living, breathing person, gone. All that's left is the story.
So this is the central battle the poem is showing us, this violent, jarring shift from being a person to becoming a story. But how does that actually happen? And who is this voice telling us all this with such, chilling authority?
See, the poem promises it'll tell us. I'll tell you how it happens. But to really get the how, we've got to first understand the who. Who is this I that's speaking on this absolutely merciless frequency?
Well, that voice, it belongs to the poet, Warsan Shire. And it's her own unique life experience that gives her this incredible ability to tune in to this very specific, very painful frequency of what it means to have your identity erased.
Think about this for a second. Shire was born to Somali parents who had to flee a civil war. She was raised in London, a first-generation immigrant, basically carrying the weight and the stories of a homeland she'd never even seen. So this upbringing, just steeped in the trauma of displacement, in the stories of refugees, it gives us this profound insight into what it feels like to have who you are defined by forces outside of yourself, by headlines, by history books, instead of by your own life.
And this gets us to a really important idea, a concept I'm going to call narrative residue. This is the absolute core of what Shire is describing. It's what's left over. It's that simplified, flattened version of a person that remains after all their complexity, their contradictions, their humanity has been completely stripped away. The poem is basically a clinical dissection of that exact collapse.
So, okay, let's get into the mechanics of this. How does this process actually work on a psychological level? I mean, how can a person's sense of self be so completely taken apart and then rewired?
This is the battle being waged, right here. On one side, you have the person, defined by things like agency, complexity, and just being present. And on the other side, you have the story, an artifact, a reduction, a lesson told by someone else. What the poem is describing is the total, crushing victory of that second column over the first.
The process itself is like a cognitive attack. It's wild. First, you get the repetition. It just overloads your mind's defenses. It's basically a denial of service attack on your sense of self. Your amygdala, your brain's threat detector, it goes off at first, but after a while, it just gives up. It shifts into this numb acceptance. And that's when your agency fades, your identity gets rewired, and the person you were is archived. Gone.
Now, while Shire's work is really anchored in that experience of migration and diaspora, its warning is so much bigger than that. It's speaking directly to the world that you and I are living in right now.
I mean, this happens every single day, right? A tragedy goes viral and a person is reduced to a headline. True crime podcasts turn real victims into characters in a show. Social media cancellations flatten a whole person into a single mistake. We are living in an attention economy that literally devours people and spits them out as content. And that's the crucial point here. This poem has ripped itself free from its original context. It's not just about refugees anymore. It's this timeless indictment of any system that takes complex human lives and simplifies them for easy consumption. So this brings us to the final and maybe the most challenging question that the poem just forces us to look at. If this is our reality, what are we supposed to do? Is this poem just a tragic warning, or is it something else?
Let's just put it out there directly.
When you feel the world trying to reduce you, to slap a label on you, to turn you into a cautionary tale or just a memory, what do? Because the poem seems to suggest two radically different ways forward.
On the one hand, path 1, you can reclaim, you can fight back. You speak first, you refuse the label, and you insist on your own unfiltered presence. You snatch back your agency before the archive can claim you. But there's another path, a darker one, escape. Maybe the poem is actually a blueprint for a kind of tactical vanishing. You let the story consume you. You become the ghost on purpose to evade capture, to slip free and become untouchable.
The poem ends on this one final, chilling line. And after everything we've talked about, its meaning is just so ambiguous. Is never again a tragic lesson? The final label stamped on a life that's been erased? Or is it a defiant vow? A promise that, having been consumed by one story, the person who emerges on the other side is something new, something that can never be captured again. The poem doesn't tell us. It leaves that for us to decide.